Hey YouTube, Kier Twig here, bringing you guys my Dinowrestler Yugioh deck profile for post Soul Fusion. This is a new deck that came out with the latest booster pack of Yugioh. It is the Dinowrestler deck. It's the deck used by Go Onizuka in the Yugioh Vrains anime, in which he put aside his Gokis for his bounty hunter work and decided to use Dinowrestlers instead while he's out hunting Playmaker. It's a very interesting deck. The whole point of the deck, I think, is kind of like a different fighting style lockdown deck where only one monster can declare an attack while like the one field spell's on the field, and using all the other lockdown capabilities, whether it's negating attacks, can't be destroyed by battle, you name it. I decided to stick with the pure version of the Dinowrestler deck. I didn't really want to try and mix it in with too much of the other Dino support, just because then it becomes more of a focus on that deck with Dinowrestlers splashed in than really focusing all on the Dinowrestler deck, which is what I like to do with most of my deck profiles. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start off, I run 3 Dinowrestler Capaptera. They're all play on words with fighting styles. With Capaptera, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target one monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Capaptera once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material for a link summon of a Dinowrestler monster, you can activate this effect. The link monster that used this card as material gains 1000 attack until the end of the turn. So it's good for a power-up play kind of card. Also, the fact that you can send one of your opponent's monsters if they control more than you helps you get rid of some maybe pesky monsters on the field, and then go out for your big link summon, which in this deck it is the Dinowrestler King T Rexel. Like I said, this is a whole deck full of fighting style puns, so quite funny on that part. I also run 3 Dinowrestler Stegosaur. With this one, if this card is special summon, you can add 1 Dinowrestler monster or 1 World Dino Wrestling from your deck to your hand. And during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, and your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target 1 Dinowrestler monster in your graveyard, except for Stegosaur, and special summon it. You can only use each effect of Stegosaur once per turn. So the special summoning definitely does help. The whole point with all the different Dinowrestlers is your opponent has to control more monsters than you. So going second in this deck definitely does help the overall aspect of the deck, but also with Stegosaur just being able to search and special summon different options, it just helps for a lot of your different plays. And another thing I like about the Dinowrestlers is that they have pretty good attack stats overall. They have obviously no defense, but they do have that attack, which benefits them wholeheartedly more than the other one. I also run 3 Dinowrestler Capoeira Raptor. With this one, if this attack position card cannot be destroyed by battle, if this card is attack, change it to defense at the end of the damage step. And during the standby phase, if this card is in defense position, you can special summon 1 Dinowrestler Capoeira Raptor from your deck. You can only use this effect of Dinowrestler Capoeira Raptor once per turn. So it's good for kind of like the lockdown that I said before, being able to stop that attack. You just want to make sure that you have other cards on the field, like your field spell, World Dino Wrestling, which we'll get to in a bit, because this one shuts down attacks for only 1 each. So being able to only worry about 1 attack means that you don't have to worry about your Capoeira Raptor being destroyed, and then you can use its special summon effect during the next standby. And for the last Dinowrestler, 3 Dinowrestler Pankratops. With this one, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Pankratops once per turn this way. And quick effect, you contribute 1 Dinowrestler monster, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effect, Pankratops, once per turn. So you can make full use of your other Dinowrestler monsters with this card. Special summoning it this way, you have other options to special summon it, so to get this guy on the field. But I like that easy special. It's kind of like a Cyber Dragon kind of style, but you don't even have to control no monsters. Your opponent just has to control more monsters than you, which is very easy to do. If they have like 3 monsters, then you can get another Dinowrestler on the field and then special summon this one. And for the non-Dinowrestler cards, I run 1 Miscellaneousaurus. It's obviously at 1, but I run this one just for the fact that it's protection for your dinosaur monsters, and then also you can get easy special summons from the graveyard with your other ones, Pankratops being a level 7, and then you have Capaptera as well being a level 3, so you can make full use of that easy special with this card as well. And I also run 3 Gilosaurus. This is just, I was debating between this. I didn't, like I said, want to run too many of the banished cards, because if you have to run some of them, then you have to run more and more of them until, like I said, the deck kind of takes over and becomes more of that with Dino Wrestlers splashed in. But I was debating between Gilosaurus and Jirac Guaiba, just for more dinosaur options, but I decided to stick with Gilosaurus, because if you don't go for dinosaur plays, and don't forget the Link monster for Dino Wrestlers requires that you use Dino Wrestler monsters and not dinosaurs, so that's why I tried to stick as pure as well to run with the Dino Wrestler monsters. But Gilosaurus helps just with other generic Link summons. The special summon early game, if your opponent has no monsters in the graveyard, definitely does come in handy, because then they won't get the special summon as well. So just remember that. And that is it for the monsters. Like I said, try to stick as pure as possible with it. If you wanted to mix a couple more, maybe generic dinosaur monsters in, I could show you what cards to take out as we get to them in the video. I also run, now moving on to the spells, 3 World Dino Wrestling. This is your field spell and a very important card in the deck. While you control a Dino Wrestler monster, each player can attack with only 1 monster during each battle phase. If your Dino Wrestler monster attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 200 attack during the damage calculation only. And if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 Dino Wrestler monster from your deck. You can only use this effect of World Dino Wrestling once per turn. So the fact that if you can get into the graveyard and get that special summon off by your opponent having more monsters than you, it's a good way just to get all 3 Dino Wrestlers on the field, because then you can make use of other ones like Pankratops' special summon ability, and then just a normal summon of another one. And you'll have the 3 Dino Wrestlers on the field, and then you can go for your Link summon, which is a Link 3. And I also run the 1 Terraforming. I run just 1 of this because most of the other spells we run means we want to get the World Dino Wrestling into the graveyard. You don't need more than 1 on the field, so the other ones that you keep in the deck can obviously just be sent to the graveyard for the banish effect. So just the 1 for the additional search, but if you wanted to take out Terraforming completely, you can put in more of the generic Dino support that I was talking about before and mix and match it between Gilosaurus and Jirac Guaiba, or any of the other ones that you may want. But I also run 3 Foolish Burial Goods. This is another one you might want to down to 2 if you wanted to run more generic support, but I like it at 3 just because that easy search for sending the World Dino Wrestling to the graveyard to use the banish effect is why I'm running 3 of this card. Obviously, it's very helpful for that special summon. It's a very big play of the deck as well. And I also run 3 Fossil Dig, only have 2 sadly here, but it's just helpful. It's search, level 6 or low dinosaur monster, generic dinosaur support. Search, the only one you can't search, obviously, is Pankratops. Being able to search anything else in the deck, monster-wise, is a big help for sure. And I also run 1 Foolish Burial, just more graveyard special summoning with this card as well. And I also run 2 Double Summon, because sometimes you're just, short that 1 special summon. 1 monster off of the special summon for whatever Link summon or maybe Exceed summon play you want to go for. And I found Double Summon just helps a lot more than if I were to try and splash in the Brilliant Fusion Engine, because then you would have to run more cards for the Brilliant Fusion Engine and then take out some of the other ones. That just help mix with, I think, the deck's pure consistency. And I also run 2 Twin Twisters. This just helps with, excess cards. If you have like an additional Foolish Burial Goods or that 1 Terraforming and you've gone through all your field spells, just extra ditch cost there for Twin Twisters. Or if you have Miscellaneousaurus in your hand, you want to get into the graveyard and take care of your opponent's back row, it definitely does help and come in handy. And then for more special summon options, I run 1 Reasoning. This one just helps with the different levels of dinosaurs you run in this deck, 3, 4, and 7. So keep your opponent on their toes on which one they want to guess for, and then if they mess up with the monster, you're just given that, easy special. Plus, with Reasoning, you could easily send World Dino Wrestling to the graveyard as well, and just have it in there to use after this card resolves. And also to finish off the spells, 1 Soul Charge and 1 Monster Reborn, just for that additional special summon late game. If your graveyard is filled up with Dino Wrestlers and you just special summon them out, depending on which ones you have, you can go for a lot of different plays for sure. And that is it for the spell cards. We'll now move on to the traps. 2 Call the Haunted, just to help with more special summoning plays. I ran Call the Haunted more than Back to the Front, just because cards like your Capoeira Raptor, they benefit with being in defense, but they also, help with the attack position play first, then going to defense. So that's why I chose to run Call the Haunted over that card. Plus, if you run Back to the Front, most of the monsters, have 0 defense. So it's better that they're summoned in attack mode so you can better protect yourself. I also run 2 Lost Wind just to stop with some of the other extra deck plays your opponent may use. It just helps with Graveyard as well, if with your Reasoning, or if you send it with Twin Twisters, which is why I decided to keep it in for that option. And lastly, for the trap cards, I run 1 Solemn Judgment and 1 Solemn Warning, just a little more extra negate help here with these ones. If you want to take out the Lost Winds, you can maybe put in the 2 Solemn Strikes just to help additionally with those cards, but that's more player preference there, depending on what you wanted to do with the deck. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra. For your Link monsters, I'm running 2 Dinowrestler King T-Rexel. With this one, you need 2 or more Dinowrestler monsters to make this card, but it is the only Link monster we have currently for Dinowrestlers, and it is a Link 3, so we always have to use 3 Dinowrestler monsters to make this card. And if this card battles, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks, except this one. And at the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls. This battle phase, your opponent cannot attack with the monster until this one has, and if it does, until that one has, and if it does, it cannot declare an attack, destroy at the end of the battle phase. So with King T-Rexel, sorry about that, you're all about control during the battle phase with the field spell, meaning your opponent can only attack with 1 monster if you control a Dinowrestler. It's complete lockdown if you play the combo correctly, just with, controlling how you want your opponent to attack. It's got 3,000 attack, and being able to benefit with some of the other Dinowrestlers bump ups, you can hit for some pretty big damage as well. So getting this guy out on the field is a pretty big priority when you're going for the pure build. And I also run 1 Mrs. Radiant. I think there's only 1 Dinowrestler that is not an Earth monster, so easy generic Link to make here than to use for your other extra deck plays. For some other generic Link monsters, I run 1 Yugioh. I might prefer Borreload in this deck over this card just for more aggressive plays. So if you have Borreload, I would maybe recommend taking the Yugioh out, but also 1 Nightmare Phoenix and 1 Cerberus just for more pop plays. Also 1 Underclock Taker for the generic Link again. 1 Repro Docus, I think that's how you pronounce it. It helps with the attribute and type adjustment with this deck, depending on if you need something specific for another type of Link play. And I also run 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon and 1 Topologic Jizbana, like I said, just for more aggressive Link monster plays as well. And for the Exceed monsters in the deck, I run 1 Evilzar Dolka and 1 Evilzar Lagia. Just dinosaur plays. You have plenty of level 4s in the deck to use for the overlay, and these guys can really help with just lockdown for your opponent as well if you get them out. Like I said, situation-wise for sure. And then just for a little more generic support, I run 1 Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, 1 Leviair the Sea Dragon, and 1 number 11 Big Eye. The Big Eye is in there. I've tried it out, and I do like it. If you want to try maybe Dracozac or another rank 7. With Pankratops, it definitely does come in handy. Just being able to have, the special summon off of Pankratops, then if you get the other one out with maybe the field spell, knowing your opponent will have more monsters than you, the Big Eye comes in handy just to be able to take control of that monster and then, use it against your opponent, obviously. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely looking forward to making a lot more decks from Soul Fusion with all the new support we have. So definitely look forward to it. Until next time, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.